Yeah, the NFL does not like what the Dallas Cowboys are doing. So we're going to be going through that and 3 other stories in today's video. So make sure to like this video, and if you want more Dallas Cowboys news content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel by hitting that red button down below. The first story is Dallas Cowboys are being criticized for their nonchalant free agency. Jerry Jones previously vowed to be all in on the 2024 season, but so far the Dallas Cowboys have essentially sat out the start of NFL free agency. Sure, the Cowboys filled a need by signing veteran linebacker Eric Kendricks as a kind of a coach on the field to help teammates get up to speed in new defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer's scheme. But Dallas missed out on even the most affordable of veteran free agent running backs and lost a key piece along the offensive line in front of quarterback Dak Prescott. Navigating one of the worst salary cap situations in the NFL was an obvious hindrance for Jerry Jones and the Cowboys. But it's difficult to believe Dallas has gotten better since the new league year began on March 13th. 5 days into NFL free agency officially being underway, CBS Sports gives the Cowboys a D for their haul so far. The Dallas Cowboys were the only team in the entire NFL not to sign anybody on Monday, Garrett Padell writes for CBS. But they finally joined the action on Tuesday by re-signing long snapper Trent Sieg. That's in direct opposition to owner and general manager Jerry Jones's all-in claims at the end of the 2023 season. In order for the Cowboys to have the cap space to be players in free agency, they needed to do contract extensions with 2023 second-team All-Pro quarterback Dak Prescott and 2023 first-team All-Pro wide receiver CeeDee Lamb in order to spread their cap hits across future seasons. This inactivity indicates the Cowboys' front office doesn't mind not being able to make many moves at the start of free agency. This nonchalant attitude only hurts the team and precludes them from re-signing 8-time Pro Bowl left tackle Tyron Smith, 5-time Pro Bowl cornerback Stephon Gilmore, and a running back to replace Pollard, among other critical transactions. Kendricks was a big signing. He fills the Cowboys' ILB issue, and the fact that he chose Dallas over the 49ers is icing on the cake. Smith ultimately agreed to terms with the New York Jets, creating uncertainty for the Cowboys at one of the most vital positions on the roster. There is no team in the NFL with less spending flexibility than Jones and the Cowboys. Following free agency's first week, the Cowboys have a league-low $4.06 million in cap space. Those concerns are compounded by the fact that Dallas has only the 13th most cap space in 2025, currently projected at approximately $87.1 million. Restructuring Prescott's contract could free up cap space for the remainder of this offseason, but the Cowboys' lack of urgency to reach some sort of resolution with the franchise quarterback to free up the ability to compete with some of the top free agents available to date has been striking. Following Tyron Smith's departure, the Cowboys' left tackle job seems earmarked for Tyler Smith. After making the move to the swamps of Jersey and the offensive line tasked with keeping Aaron Rodgers upright, Smith couldn't hide his excitement. "I feel like it's going to be amazing," Smith told Josina Anderson of CBS Sports. "Of course, me being with Dallas, he's kicked our butts twice in the playoffs, so I know what he's capable of. Honestly, I'm just excited about the opportunity." Now, the task of keeping Prescott upright falls on Tyler Smith, who, according to Pro Football Focus, allowed just 1 sack in 942 snaps last season. The Dallas Cowboys are still searching for their next running back, and the solution could lie with the Houston Texans. In terms of low-risk, high-reward options, Dameon Pierce could make a lot of sense as a Cowboy. On March 17th, Blogging the Boys writer David Howman suggested Pierce as a trade target. While Howman admits that Pierce's stock has fallen over the past year or so, he explains that he is still worth considering. While the Cowboys have done some due diligence on a couple free agent running backs, Pierce would be an excellent trade candidate, Howman wrote. His running style fits well into this offense, and Dallas would have him under contract for 2 years, with his cap hit never going higher than $1.3 million. Between Pierce's diminished role in Houston and the Joe Mixon trade, the Cowboys could likely get him for a relatively cheap compensation. Being able to land a young and talented RB for that kind of price is something that RB-needy teams like Dallas can't afford to turn down. SpotRack estimates that the Cowboys only have $4 million in cap space to work with, so saving money is as important as ever. Pierce joined the Texans as a fourth-round pick in the 2022 NFL Draft after playing his college ball at Florida. While the Texans were a year from QB C.J. Stroud in 2022, Pierce was a bright spot during a difficult season. According to Pro Football Reference, Pierce totaled 939 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns in 13 games in 2022. The second story is Cowboys release LB Leighton Vander Esch, WR Michael Gallup. In 2018, the Dallas Cowboys drafted linebacker Leighton Vander Esch and wide receiver Michael Gallup in the first and third rounds, respectively. On Friday, the Cowboys released both players. Vander Esch was released with a failed physical designation, while Gallup was listed as a post-June first cut. The Gallup decision opens up $9.5 million in cap space this season, but he will count $8.7 million against the 2025 salary cap. Vander Esch, 28, dealt with a number of injuries throughout his 6-year career with the Cowboys, including a neck issue last season after he was pushed from behind, leading to an awkward collision, which ultimately ended his season after 5 games. As a rookie, he was named to the Pro Bowl, leading the Cowboys with 176 tackles, but neck issues that were a concern entering the draft continued to be an issue. In 2019, he missed 7 of the final 9 games with a neck injury that required surgery. In 2022, he missed the final 4 regular season games with a stinger, but returned for the 2 playoff games. In the second quarter of the Week 5 loss to the San Francisco 49ers, left tackle Trent Williams pushed Vander Esch from behind, and his head collided with Micah Parsons' hip. The Cowboys prepared for Vander Esch's departure by signing veteran Eric Kendricks to a 1-year deal. An injury played a part in the Gallup move as well. After tearing the anterior cruciate ligament in his left knee late in the 2021 season, the Cowboys signed him to a 5-year, $57.5 million deal in 2022, but he was unable to regain the form that saw him average 15.5 yards per catch. After the injury, Gallup caught 73 passes for 842 yards and 6 touchdowns and did not record a 100-yard game in the regular season in 2022 and 2023. In the wild-card loss to the Green Bay Packers in January, he caught 6 passes for 103 yards. His best season came in 2019 when he caught 66 passes for 107 yards and 6 touchdowns. The Cowboys gave Gallup permission to seek a trade, which turned out just to be a prelude to his release. If he had been on the roster through Saturday, $4 million of his $8.5 million salary would have been fully guaranteed. Without Gallup, the Cowboys hope their 2022 second-round pick, Jalen Tolbert, can continue to ascend after catching 22 passes for 268 yards and 2 scores last season, following a rookie season in which he caught just 2 passes. The Cowboys have Lamb and Brandin Cooks back as their top receivers in 2024, but could look to a deep draft class to add to their receiver group. The third story is Tyron Smith expected to depart Cowboys for Jets. It is indeed the end of an era for Tyron Smith and the Dallas Cowboys. The two sides met at the 2024 NFL Combine, ahead of Smith's trek into free agency, but no deal was agreed to, and as such, the 33-year-old chose to test the market, and he's now expected to join the New York Jets next season per multiple reports that include NFL.com. It is reportedly a 1-year deal worth upwards of $20 million. Only one day prior, Executive Vice President and Director of Player Personnel Stephen Jonas made it known that the Cowboys were still very interested in the 8-time Pro Bowl left tackle remaining in Dallas for the foreseeable future. The door is open, said Jones. Tyron Smith is going to be a Hall of Fame football player. He's had an amazing career, and we certainly haven't shut the door on a continued career here in Dallas. He's a man's man and one of the greatest left tackles to ever play the game. No one feels better about Tyron Smith than this organization. We have nothing but big-time thoughts about Tyron and what he's all about. It was not to be, however, as he'll look to protect Aaron Rodgers going forward. Entering the 2023 season, it appeared Smith was on the final leg of his illustrious career, at least physically. After all, he has struggled annually to remain on the field for the entire regular season, and the emergence of rookie sensation Tyler Smith and his ability to pop outside to left tackle and still dominate made it appear the elder Smith had lost his spot. That turned out to be wildly untrue, though, because while Tyron Smith did again miss time in 2023, he'd play in the majority of the games and looked every bit the perennial All-Pro when he suited up in his 13 starts. A new practice regimen in Dallas, for example, not practicing at all, might have added a couple years to his career. Time will tell if that's true, but he's likely heading to Canton down the road no matter what happens next in his career, one that has thus far spanned more than 160 starts since 2011. For the first time in his career, he'll put on a uniform that doesn't have the star on it. Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott has filed a lawsuit in a Texas district court, alleging a woman is trying to extort us $100 million, $150 million from him. In the 11-page lawsuit filed in Collin County, Prescott's attorney claims lawyers for Victoria Shores sent an email in January to a third party at the college Prescott attended, Mississippi State University, addressed to the football player.